Hi, I'm Rushikaa. So I just wanted to let you all know about my IIM Rohtak interview experience. My interview just got over. So it was scheduled on 21st of February at Bangalore. We had to report at 7:30, and at 7:30 we were asked to queue up, and our verification and everything was done. I was in panel 2 and I was the fourth candidate, but because the first candidate didn't show up, I was renumbered to number 3. So, to give a background about myself, I am a fresher and my major is civil engineering. I'm still in my final year. So, we had 2 male panelists. I walked in. It was overall a good interview. I wouldn't say it went bad. It definitely didn't go bad, but I wouldn't say it was excellent because there were a few questions that I didn't know. But overall, considering this my first interview, and for all the articles and the perspective that I had of the interview experiences of Rohtak and how it's known for being, a grilling session. This was a rather calm session. So I walked in the interview and there were 2 panelists, both of them were male. I'm going to call the first one P1 and the second one P2. So they asked, the first question was, tell me something about yourself that's not there in the resume that you presented. And I told them that, occasionally I write poems and I have been a part of multiple debates and I have conducted various programs and various workshops and seminars in my college and my school that are not mentioned in the resume that's given. And so P1 held on to the point of me liking to debate. And generally in Rohtak, the trend is that you are given a topic and you're supposed to speak about it. But mine was a little twisted. My topic was global climatic change is a myth, and I had to talk for the topic that global climatic change was a myth, which I had a minute and a half. It was extremely tough to come up with points because every point that came up to my mind was against the topic. But I concluded by saying that there's infrastructure development and fast fashion is a thing, and that government funds are still being allocated highly for industries and automobiles, and if climatic change really did matter so much, then the government would have taken considerable steps to reduce its consumption in the GDP, and that because government is doing that, it also is an indicator that the government hasn't taken global climatic change as seriously as it should be taken. So that climatic change is a myth. And they smiled, and P1 proceeded to ask me, are you for or against what you spoke? And I said, I'm against what I spoke because climatic change is actually inaction and it's a thing that's very much prevalent. And my next question was that I am a civil engineer, and I had to convince public that plastic isn't good for the environment, and I had to base my points from the company that I am a part of, which is Duramax Constructions, and I did my part and told them that plastic is, non-biodegradable and that it is not environmental friendly. And even if a ban on plastic is very much put forth, there's still a lot of floating plastic, and the maximum we can do is recycle it. And that from my company's side, I will put up campaigns to ensure that there's awareness amongst the public. Those were the 2, I think, major questions. And then he went ahead, and then P1 went ahead to ask me what are the types of materials. Like after the interview, I realized that I should have probably answered brittle and ductile, but my answer there was that it's wood and steel, and there are many materials. But what are the type of materials is a very general, area. So I answered wood and steel, ductile and brittle, so maybe. So that was a okayish answer. I could have done a better job at it. And then the conversation turned to P2, and P2 majorly asked me current affair questions. So one of the question was, how many districts are there in Tamil Nadu? There are 38 districts, and I decided to answer 32, which is a very silly error because I knew the answer, but I think that's what we do in interviews sometimes. But it's okay, it's fine. He smiled at it and he said, one of them said 44. And I said, do you think it's 44 or is it 32? And I said, sir, I'm not sure if it's 32, but it's definitely not 44. And that's how that went. And the other current affair questions were very general. Who's the first president of India? Who's the first female president of India? Who's the governor of Tamil Nadu? And the one answer that I messed up high time is, he asked me what's the party of the... So the question was, who is the governor of Tamil Nadu? And I replied, R.N. Ravi. And he was like, which party does he belong to? and the governor is elected by the ruling party, but he himself is not as such a part of any political party. That's the whole point of a governor. And I decided to reply BJP, for which he smiled, and now I understand why he smiled, because that's a very silly answer. That I messed up. Yes, high time. Apart from that, he asked me what are my hobbies, and I said I sing. And I was asked to sing, so I sang a Swarajati. So I learned classical music, and I sang a Swarajati called Samba Shivayana, which is the last Swarajati. And he was like, why do you look worried? And so I sang the Swarajati, and he asked me, why do you look worried? You did a good job. So for which I smiled, and of course I greeted them, thank you, and I left the room. So that's how that went. What are my impressions of the interview? I could have done better, and I feel that's very general perspective that we have, right? We always feel like we can do better, but yeah, overall there was no grilling. The interviewers and the panelists made me feel very included. It was a much calmer interview. There was a lot of smiling. There were no blank faces. There was enough reaction for me to react back. I didn't feel intimidated by the panelists. So that's like an overall 3 stars out of 5. I still have my IIM Trichy interview, which is scheduled next week, and I have the big day. I have my Kozhikode interview on March 12th, and I'll update you about how those interviews go too. And I'm much aware that when I did preparation, the questions that are being asked for civil engineers, there is very less representation of what's being asked, especially in technical, and if you're a fresher and you're a civil engineer. I wasn't asked too many technical questions in civil engineering. It was very basic, like what is strength and what is elastic, which are like very basic. And if you are a civil engineer, these are something you just know by heart because you've come across it so many times in your graduation. So yeah, that's about it. Definitely a lot of more preparation to happen. Yeah, that's how my interview experience went. Cheers.